Yo, Mike. Welcome back, everyone. Another edition of Dogging It. We're live from the U.S. Open, day number 3, Mike. It was moving day for a lot
Yeah.
of guys.
Yeah, a lot of them were moving out.
A lot of them are packing up the bags today. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your take, man, so far throughout the day? What was the first thing that comes to mind when you think about day 3 at the U.S. Open?
A couple things. The Americans doing pretty well.
Yeah.
There's 8 guaranteed into the final 64, which is a pretty good showing. There's 2 more that are still playing that have a shot to get in. So if you get 10 into the final 64, I think that's pretty good representation for U.S. players this week.
Okay.
I mean, really.
Relatively speaking, yeah.
It is. It's all relative. You look at the last couple of years. You look at some of these other events. It's they're in a lot. I'd like to see half of these. I'd like to see 8 of them in the final 32. That would be
a lot better. Yeah.
So,
but they're not polls though.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
But still, I think overall, encouraging. Some of them were surprises. You see, get into this, final 64.
Like?
Well, Chris Reinhold hasn't played a whole hell of a lot this year, and he went undefeated. He's 3-0 going into the final.
He's cruising.
64. He's doing really
cruising,
well.
Yeah.
Oscar, same with him. Not a big participant this year. All of a sudden, he plays out here, 3-0, goes into the final 64 and beaten. Right. Sky, of course. Jeremy Sosay, not a huge surprise there. He's a solid player.
No, I mean that win at the end against Yanni Saikin, and then the match before taking Jason Shaw to the hill after being down, pretty decently. Yeah. That's those are great spots if you're Jeremy. Great moments for him today.
Yeah. Tyler's still playing, so he's got a chance to get in. You want to see him. He needs to make that final 64 to me.
You think he needs to?
No, I think he's on the Team USA regardless, right? I think he needs to. I think you want to go into that end of the year playing good pool, beating good people.
Ran into what's his name? The Bosnia player, Sanjin.
Yeah. He got run over pretty good by Sanjin, which can happen. I mean, we know that guy's speed, his level. So,
but we hadn't seen it. We hadn't seen it since last year, really. So, that's a decent win for him.
One of the surprises today would be Shane getting handled pretty easily.
Well, I mean, we talked about it earlier, and we said, does he have a chance? And you were like, no, emphatically, and as was Joey. And I think a lot of people, will look at the score line and kind of say, well, Marco took control of it. But I walked up early in that match. Jason Eagle Eye was getting ready for his match with Jeremy Saucy, and he calls me over and he says, Mike, it's in his head. And I said, what do you mean? He said he's missed the 7 ball, he's missed the 9 ball, he's missed an 8 ball, and then Shane was straight in on a 5 ball. As Jason's telling me this, rattles it up, But kudos to Marco for holding his own. Not only did he win those games he was supposed to. On top of that, he closed that matchup, pretty strong. Like even in spots where he wouldn't have won it.
I mean, he's not his first rodeo, so good for him.
Yeah, without a doubt, that was the big win for me for the day. Was Marco.
There were 2 that really stood out to me for the day. Was Sam Henderson beating Loho Sum on the TV table on his 17th birthday. That's pretty sporty.
Today's the 17th birthday?
Today's the 17th birthday. And that was a big thing. And Earl
Check out
Strickland.
this stat. I'm going to see if this guy wants to get a job and take your spot. He says we got 10 Americans, 2 from Taiwan, 6 players. Oh, no, sorry. Philippines with 5, Taiwan with 6, Germans with 4,
Look at
Polish
you,
with 4.
Reading based on the flags.
You know what I mean?
Up on your flags, son.
The Netherlands with 4. I've been going to WPA school, So the Austrians with 4 players, and then the UK with 3, including one Darren Appleton, Mike.
Yeah, I mean that's another great. There were some cool storylines today.
How can you not root for that
getting
guy?
through into the final 64.
Imran Majid,
we knew that was coming.
We called it, man.
That's low hanging fruit now at these tournaments. So there's some good storylines tomorrow. People start dropping like flies.
Well, I mean, you don't have a cushion anymore.
No, I mean everything.
If you thought today was a grind,
cut in half.
If you thought today was a grind, it's going to get even more tense. I think we're going to get down to 16 after tomorrow, ain't we?
I believe so. I believe tomorrow ends up with 16, then you got Friday and Saturday for round of 16, round of 8.
It's going to be exciting stuff. But like you said, there's a lot of guys who are looking to continue to make moves. The Panda got through, a guy on Team Europe who you're looking to see what he can do. David Alcaid, I talked to him earlier after his win against a strong Taiwanese player. The guys who Federer dodged a bullet. I didn't see that coming. Nick
Yeah,
Nick took him to the
to
brink.
the
You
brink.
know, Nick should have. And ironically, I mean, actually, Nick should have been at 8-6 and breaking. He missed a thin cut on the 7 ball after he got out of position. Lost the tactical battle with Federer. Federer wins that one, making it 7-7. Federer breaks and runs the next one, making it 8-7. And then, of course, Federer does what Federer does
Yeah.
at 8-7. So, or 8-6 rather. So, but that was pretty much a shock, man, for me.
Well, yeah,
Just
I
Nick.
was watching it all the way through, and it was 4-4 and 5-5 and six
Yep.
to six. I'm like, boy, he's trading games with him pretty good here. So, kudos to Nick for hanging in there.
What about the Pearl?
And he's playing right now, so he's still
Yeah.
got a shot at that final 64. And obviously Earl, coming out today after that heartbreaking loss yesterday to Ralph, and he played two really solid matches today.
Like Mosconi resume kind of matches, Mike, you think?
No,
No? I mean,
No.
come on. Listen, you were already ready to talk about Corey making it in and what it could mean for him.
well,
you
no.
know?
I mean, if Corey kept winning,
Well, what if Earl keeps winning, Mike? I mean, I know we don't want to go down. We've seen that train already. We've seen that show already. We've seen that
we
car
talked
wreck
to him
already.
afterwards, and he said, if I ever got another chance, I'd be ready this time. I wasn't ready last year.
He said that.
Yes, he did say
Yeah.
that. He said I'd be ready this
You
time.
believe him though, because you've seen all sides of Earl.
Well, it's it's what is he like tomorrow? What is he like 10 minutes from now?
Yeah.
You just don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. So, but he's having you can tell that he's enjoying himself here. And
Yep.
He's playing well, and he knows he's playing well, and he knows he's playing well on really tough equipment.
That's the thing, Mike.
And
where a lot of guys are struggling.
He feels pretty good about himself right now. But it was kind of that way a little bit last year at the U.S. Open. I mean, at the International.
Yep.
He was playing pretty well there too. And then once he got picked, it was there was just too much time for everybody to make too much hay with what was being trotted into
it doesn't
Las
take
Vegas,
much.
and that was a rough tour of duty there. So. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, all I know is I look at this list of Americans that are still playing,
Right.
and the ones that aren't playing, and I'm thinking, Jeremy Jones' job just
Look,
got harder.
I was there at the Derby when Efren made the run, and you don't even realize that something special is going on until you realize that something special is going on. It's like you just see him. Okay, you got to win. Okay, he's gonna play Sky next. He can't make it through. He beats Sky. And then it just goes on. He beats Curtis, and and then it just gets better and better. And also, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Where he's in single elimination, it's great. Well, yeah, but
That's what we do.
if it happens, the whole pool world is going to be watching Mike. Because everyone likes to pick on him a little bit, needle him, but everybody also loves seeing him play pool in a great way.
Everybody loves seeing him play well, and you can see it at this tournament. People are just around that table, and they're like on the edge of their seat watching and you could see other players. I was standing next to David Alcade, and he's just shaking his head watching this guy going,
he's a legend. Yeah.
I mean, look at this
They
guy
respect
play.
him. They respect him, Mike.
He said, you're definitely talking about one of the top 3 9-ball players in the history of the game. No doubt about it. And I wanted to know who his other 2
That's
were.
that's the first thought that came into my mind, actually.
So, but Earl, it's great to see him play well. And I do want to, there's a couple comments in there about the Jeff DeLuna.
I heard about some drama, and I wasn't here. I just got back from dropping off Collins in Philadelphia.
Jeff DeLuna was playing Quack from Vietnam, and there was drama at the end. They showed it on the big screen. DeLuna making the last 9-ball and going to shake Quack's hand, and Quack didn't want anything to do with it. And I thought, wow, something must have really happened near the end of that match. Look, the final score was 9-1. I'm like, what the hell could have happened? Yeah. You're still mad at the end of a 9-1 match.
Well, but then you look at the names involved, Mike, and we know this.
And we know DeLuna's been, he's
there's a history there.
Yeah,
there's a reputation there.
So I asked Jeff about it, and he said, at first he said, I don't know, it was a 9-1. How can you be mad about that? And he said, in the first game, and I thought, here we go. Yeah. And he said what happened in the first game was he had the cue ball at one end of the table, the 1 ball at the other end of the table, behind a couple of objects balls, and he had to kick at it. And he kicked at it, and he said, I made a good hit. And he called a foul, and I said it wasn't a foul, it was a good hit. And he said we argued about it just a little bit.
I've seen this show before. I've seen this movie before.
And he said we argued a little bit, and I said, did you call a ref over? to kind of straighten it out. And he said, no. Quack said, fine, whatever, just go ahead, leave it.
Tilted.
And so Quack came to the table after that kick and took a long 1-9, I think, and missed it. And
The wheels came off
Luna ran out, and then the wheels came off. Quack missed a 9 after that, missed a bunch of makeable balls after that. Luna said by the end of the match, he almost forgot what had happened at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Quack wanted nothing to do with the handshake.
It's unfortunate. We also know there's a lot going on in the pool world and a lot of things going through players' minds, including especially those in Vietnam right now with all the recent things that we posted about a couple of days ago. So I don't know.
Sure Quack had his heart set on a deep run here, and it comes to a crashing halt.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is. I don't think it's like. I think it's probably about the same as Anton not making it. And that because he's that player who we just expect him to be there. So he's that kind of elite talent, and has had so much form and consistency that it's a surprise. Without a doubt, and one of the shocks of players who aren't going to make it through, Mike.
Yeah, no, it is.
I
have to look at the comments because the next person that asked me if I'm Bill Nye is getting barred from all future podcasts.
We can't undo it, Mike. Once, we can't undo it, man. I don't know how it just came into my mind, but
you get to the age where the people that they compare you to as far as somewhat famous
a genius
becomes Bill Nye. Einstein's a genius too. You want to look like Einstein?
Look, man. Listen, let's bring up the guys who made it through, Mike. Let's outside of the Americans, there's 60. Okay. There's 32 players that made it through on winner's side qualifications.
Yeah, winner's side, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. No big surprise there. Good to see him. He said he's healthy as can be. We know he had some medical problems coming back from Asia and missed a tournament or two. But he's 9-1, 9-2, 9-2 through his first 3 matches.
Strong.
So Fran's,
including that of Mickey Cross at the end,
hasn't broken a sweat yet.
Yeah.
Kunlin Wu through undefeated. Roland Garcia, we talked about that matchup this morning against Conrad Yushin, being a really tight match, and it went hill with Roland winning that. So Robbie Capito,
that's a good win for Robbie. That's a good win for Robbie. And he had form at the U.S. Open. I want to say the year that Carlo won. So can he repeat it? He's there's a lot of Asian players there, Mike. You just went down Roland, Wu Kun Lin, Robbie Capito.
Yeah, good list. And Omar Al Shaheen. Didn't see that one coming. I mean, he played Corey.
Corey won that match.
No, Corey ended up on the loser side after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Omar is through. Not surprisingly, Carlo Beato.
We've got a question here about, let's see here, talking about the last matches for tonight. So they're actually done for the night. There's one more match, I think, on TV table that's going on right now.
There's a couple matches that are finishing up as we speak. So we can check in on those in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But Sanjan's through.
Surprise there, Mike. We all thought highly of Tyler going into that matchup, and I don't know if it was Tyler not playing so well or just Sanjan, standing real tall.
Yeah, so. Sanjan. I did not see the match, but I'm assuming Sanjan played pretty lights out. Federer wasn't a hill match. He beat Nick 9-7.
Yeah, 9-7.
So still a great turnout for it. BJ Ussery against Albin. We're hoping that he would show better there.
Well, they're guys both with a lot to prove. Obviously, given Albin's resume, BJ with a lot more to prove. But it's a lot more thicker on the European side. But BJ had opportunity to kind of like, hey, I'm here. I belong here.
Yeah.
And opportunity by the wayside a little bit. But the tournament's not over for him. I know he's fighting with Sam Henderson right now in a closely contested battle. But Albin, I mean, anytime that guy is there in the last couple of days, it's dangerous. Albin's still there in the last couple of days. Like you better, you better keep an eye on him, because we know that as it gets tougher, he gets tougher.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Chris Reinhold defeats Thorsten Holman 9-6. I mean, those are decent wins for Chris. Mika, Thorsten,
Mika and Thorsten. I mean, they're Hall of Famers. They're on the
opposite end of
side of their career, but still veteran, solid players who didn't come here to not make the final 64. So, these guys play hard and they play smart, and you're going to have to work to beat them.
Right.
And so, Chris, kudos to him for making it through.
The redraw should be tonight, you guys. So as soon as this match is over with,
these matches, this round's over, right?
And then we'll make sure and we'll get those posted for you guys also. Imran Majid,
our guy.
How can you not?
Mister Final 32.
Mr. Reliable.
He
He
is.
just gets there,
He
man. He just
is.
gets there all the time. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
He beat Misko on the hill.
Copigny defeats Sullivan Clark by a pretty one-sided
Yeah.
score line. Sky Woodward in the afternoon took
It was a good
pretty good
match.
care against Alex. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they fought, and I told Alex whenever I first walked in, he was the first player I saw as I came into the tournament room, and I said, Alex, do you think that this favors you because your break has been more of a liability this year, or like in the last few years rather, and because the break is more of a shot versus like a power kind of break?
Right.
And he said, absolutely. And having that kind of match with Sky just shows that, hey, he can fight with anybody here, because
Yeah.
we all think that Sky can as well.
Loser side.
Jeremy Salse threw after beating my guy on my draft, Yanni Saikinen. I'm heartbroken there, and I should have gone to go Tanya
You'll
Hardin
get
his
over
ass.
it.
Maciel defeating Ri Tang from Taiwan. Look, I like Maciel. You know that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for that dude's game. Mike, I think he's coming. I think he's coming like quick. And when he lost early on, I want to say it was to no, that wasn't Gangplank. That was Yanni Saikinen. When he lost early on, or to Jeff, actually, to Jeff.
Okay.
I was kind of like, man, can he pull it through? But now he's one of the players that if you're on the winner side, you do not want to draw him. He's one of the ones you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shane's on that list too, though. So
Billy Thorpe.
convincing win,
over.
Mike.
Yeah, that's strong. I did
Do
not
you
see the
think
match,
that he's
but
doing enough right now to say, okay?
I think that he's doing enough and to be solidly in the conversation
Right.
for 4 or 5. We thought 4 was pretty much a done deal with Shane Wolford. He didn't do himself any favors this week. So I think that if you're looking at the short list of, say, 3 players for the last 2 spots, Billy's got to be on that list
Has
of
to
3
be.
players.
Yeah, has to
Right.
be. And that's a great win, by the way,
Yeah.
in that kind of score line. Daniel Gutenberger,
He comes back. He was down. Alex had him 8-5.
Wow, so Paggy Lions out of the event, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty big, man.
I think it was 8-4 actually at one point.
In
So that's
favor
a
of Alex?
surprise. Yeah, I was
Okay.
surprised to see that turned around. Gerson,
My man.
yeah,
Exciting guy to watch, by the way.
he
Yeah.
is. I don't know how he plays the way he plays. You watch him, and he is down on a shot, and when
He
he
steers
shoots,
everything. He gets right up.
He steers like like a Formula One driver. He
Yep.
is all over the place. His head pops up,
But
his
it
arms
works.
pop up, his cues, and I guess once the ball leaves the Q-tip, I guess it doesn't matter if you take your cue and throw
Oh,
it through
you're
the
gonna
window.
you're gonna drive some instructors
know
crazy,
that, I
Mike.
know
There,
that.
we're gonna get some
But-
hate mail now. Tuck your shirt in, son.
Well, I don't play, so
Yeah.
just deal with me.
Fortunski with a big win through another Polish
pull
player.
through.
Let's see, Jesus Atencio, a guy who hadn't been playing pool a whole lot, beats Thorsten Holman. BJ Ussery, wow, so he did defeat Sam Henderson by a score of 9-6. This BJ will be on that short list of players also, at least in that maybe like 1-4 range of
He
players.
will. I think he's got to win his next match. I think he's got to win in the round of 64 to
I don't think
get
that's.
into
I don't
a
think that's.
conversation
Well,
again.
I think he's.
I don't think beating. I mean, listen. I love Sam Henderson, great young upcoming talent. I don't think beating Sam Henderson 9-6 puts Billy Ussery into the conversation.
Yeah, that's not. Let's see, Nick Hill. Come on, Nick. Let's win one for the good guys.
Yeah, wouldn't you love to see that?
Delgado down 4-1, currently on TV table number 1. You guys can check that out on DAZN. Alexa Pichel defeats Dennis Grabe. So that means Dennis is probably on the roof here.
I think Dennis is over that at this point.
No, we give him a hard time regularly on the show.
He's such a good guy.
He is.
And he's such a good player.
Yeah, and you know what? He's a no bullshit kind of guy, and I got a lot of respect for guys that are like that.
Yeah.
I really do. Van Leerup takes off. You're the guy who you thought should have been pick number 1 for Team USA, and Corey Doolin. I'm shocked. I can't believe
it.
It
Happened to Corey. I don't know. The cue that he borrowed must not have been working.
Yeah.
Wojciech is up 7-3, so another Pole looking to get into that final 64.
Another one of these guys you're not going to want to draw, Mike.
Yeah,
you're not going to want to draw that dude. I promise you, you're not.
So he's up 7-3, and
wow, Conrad out, Mark Biesterbosch in. Biesterbosch lost early on in this event too, so he's been on the scenic route for quite a while.
We're also final 64 after
he made it through.
So.
Lucas Werner loses to Mickey Kraus, 2 young rising stars. We hope for a better tournament for Lucas. I talked a lot about him recently, and to kind of have this showing. I don't want to say it's a disappointment because Mickey plays great, but certainly a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
big event. He may have been, may have been a little bigger than he was ready for.
yeah,
You're just everybody who comes at you is pretty solid player out here. So
right.
um,
SVB loses to Marco earlier,
right,
like we talked about, and
and
then
then
comes back
bounce
and
backs.
wins.
Yeah,
Yeah, nine to
against
five, Dolly Parton, and then is that the last match there? Quack and Jeff.
yeah, Quack
Oh,
and Jeff
is that the last one
nine to
though?
one.
Oh no,
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 I
it's not.
lied, which I've done before.
Let's see. Chris loses to a guy who I can't even pretend to pronounce his name.
Yeah, Chris was Chris was not happy at the end of
Really?
that match, saying he probably would not play in this event again. Here's what happened: playing
Really?
the guy, it's 7-7, and he's going to shoot, and there was a fan. It was not the big hallway; it was those narrow gaps between
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
rows of tables. And as he's down on a shot, a fan kind of walks into his line shot and just stands there, and he's looking around and he's looking at Chris, and Chris is like, get out of the way.
Oh, we waved him off.
And so waved him off. So the guy went out of the way, and Chris proceeded to drill the ball into the jaws of the pocket. And that put him on tilt. And then he's up the table again. And apparently there were a couple of referees on across that short aisle talking to each other in a loud voice and cracking jokes to each other. And obviously,
He was already on tilt.
and he heard it. And he said another player at another table near him said, "Those guys got to quiet down." And so by the time the match was over and he loses 9-7, he was not a happy camper. I think we'll see Chris play again, but in the heat of the moment, he was having none of what was going on around his table.
How did I miss that interview? Good night. Yeah, Chris is
And
always
then
going to be a
another
fan.
story of the tournament, obviously, Darren Appleton getting through the final 64, 9-7 win.
Trap game. You see Darren in there. You better be ready.
You think?
You better like I don't think the guy is going to make a quarterfinal, but I think he can continue to
He can send a couple
take,
people home earlier than they thought they were going to be.
yes. Yeah, I believe
Okay.
that. I do.
Okay.
Chen survives. Besar from Albania. The can do right.
Well, he's my guy.
Yeah.
He's my horse the rest of the way. He's not just can do. He is the
The can
can
do.
do.
The Ohio State.
And
All right,
the
man.
can do.
The can.
Did.
He did.
Do I get kicked off the show for stuff?
There
like this
you
or
go.
what?
We got to say that for the end, Mike. Right?
So he's through the final 64. Pius Labutis through the final 64 as well. So shaping up into, I look at who comes out of the losers bracket. They're going to be facing some pretty stiff competition of guys who came out of the winners bracket. There's going to be some matchups that look a little bit on the one-sided, side, but
Yep.
but there's going to be a couple juicy ones in there too.
Give me a guy from the one loss side you'd like to make a really deep run, Mike.
Shane.
Oh no, okay. But besides
You
Shane,
said give me
I
one-
know.
you
I
said
didn't
give
think
me
I
one.
didn't think you were going to be that nitty. Okay, well, I'm going to call you Hunter from here on out. All right, come on,
Would
give
you?
me. I can't with you right now.
Well, who do you want me to pick? Pius Labutis?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Pius Labutis
No,
is my guy
no,
to make
no.
the
All
finals.
right, no.
I'll pick Pius Labutis to make the final 8.
That's it. Okay, now we're talking, man. Now we're talking. All right, now give me a guy on the winner side you like. Let me guess, FSR or Carlo.
No, I'm not going to be that obvious.
Come on.
Filler.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Let's see. Who do I think is playing well on the winner's side?
That guy right there, Cheng Yu Lung. Cheng Yu Lung. He's coming off a final out there in Connecticut. He's done very well in U.S. Opens before.
Yeah.
He's played extremely comfortable, including a second round matchup against Anton Raga. I think that guy's in form. I think his break is dialed in. It's very like finessey, borderline soft, but he gets there and he runs balls very well. Has a great defensive game. Give me Cheng Yu Long on the winner side. On the one loss side, I don't even know. I can't even think right now. What do we got there? Let's see. Give me the panda. Give me the panda bear coming through. Let him get the monkey off his back. I like stories, Mike. I like good stories.
Oh, well, don't we all?
All right. And who was your pick on the winner side? You never gave it to me.
Other than Filler?
Oh, yeah. Other than Filler. Come on.
Other than Filler, I'll go Levan.
That's a good pick. Levan is a grinder of a player and very well seasoned, has a lot of championship pedigree. There's probably like 30 guys who can win this event, Mike. Easily. Yeah. Probably more, actually, now that I think about it.
We must have missed some matches on the winner's side because
did we?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember talking about um,
Niels.
Niels
Yeah.
and a couple of other these
Well, you were
guys.
in charge of the tech this time, so I'm going to blame
Oh,
you.
Yap.
Yep.
Yap made it
Aloysius,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, he made it through.
How do we miss that match?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oliver Solnaki. Yeah, we did miss all those, didn't we?
Yeah,
Niels winning.
Niels,
You
Oliver.
missed like
Yeah.
a whole section.
Well, yeah, David Alcade.
You need a better producer over here. All
We
right,
really
listen.
do.
We appreciate all you guys for tuning in. We're gonna have a morning show.
He's
We'll
going to have
be
a better guest on tomorrow
yeah,
morning. We promise
yeah.
that.
We're gonna be talking about the draw in the morning, 9 a.m. on the East Coast. We're gonna be live and we're gonna break down all 32 matchups. They're gonna be great. And as soon as they're live, we'll be posting them this evening as well. So
Perfect.
thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you guys later and hope